I think I started growing hemp 22 years ago, and all the government agencies are known as CFRs, Code of Federal Regulations. And we want to live free. We'd like to be just like you, but we don't have that opportunity because the United States government has this huge bureaucracy called the Interior of Indian Affairs, and then below that is a Bureau of Indian Affairs. And another big agency is the Indian Health Service, which doesn't give us quality health care. We're not naive, we're not ignorant, but we speak our language. We have the knowledge to live on the land where we're from. But the colonization and genocide, because it's swept under, isn't really being addressed. And what that does is it causes racism.
Oh yeah.
As long as these treaty violations are not addressed, it's guilt of living on unceded Indian territory that causes them to lash out. So it seems like racism, but it's not. It's guilt of living on that land. So if we could address that, I want to do it in a kind, gentle, and intelligent, educated way. And I'd like to get it into these school curriculums, so it's discussed.
Right.
So this guilt could be wiped clean, and we could say, hey,
That's right.
let's be real friends.
Well, it's interesting. Like I said, we showed the movie, and after watching the movie, and I don't know if you've seen it,
Which one is
Awake from Standing Rock.
Oh no, I didn't get a chance to see it.
And after the movie, I said I was both completely drained, just because it was just such an emotional, powerful movie, and just having supported it from here. I sent food. I'm also a farmer, an organic farmer. I don't know if you knew that, but also enriched. Like I had two words for the movie: drained and enriched. The enrichment was the incredible brother and sister but to the land, which I went to. Of course, I actually talked about how even after the movie, in our society, when the news talks about the weather, it's a nice day when it's sunny, and it's a bad day when it's rainy. And I figure, as a farmer, rain is not a bad thing. We'd be in big trouble without rain, right? It'd be really hard. Go live in the Sahara Desert for a while and tell me how it goes, right?
Sometimes you need the rain.
You need it. I'd like to have about 3/4 of an inch of rain every 5 days or so. But it was just an incredible presentation, and part of it was also, you touched on it in your statement of how you want to reach out to people, in that everything that was done in love and forgiveness and in sort of a welcoming way, as opposed to the other and pointing fingers. And so most kids in the United States get U.S. history out of a hardcover book with an American flag that is white male colonial version of history. There weren't any women involved in all the great successes or failures. There were no anybody else except for white men that made everything perfect the way it is today, which I don't believe. And this book teaches it from the people's perspective, and it has a lot, and I'm sure inaccuracies still, but around the genocide and around Indigenous Peoples Day and so forth. Treaty violations, just lots. So when you talk about trying to teach people these things and talk about our education system, I brought that book up over and over and over again, because as long as we have history taught to us, which even the word history is embedded with his, there's no her story in there, as long as that's the history that everyone's getting fed in their teen years, we're going to be a long way from an understanding of reality.
Congress is criminals, they're liars, they're thieves, they're murderers, and this is the reputation they have. And if they want to bring honor back to themselves, they have to address treaty violations. And what we want is, we want our 1851 territories back and make it a safe zone from all forms of mining and destruction of water. And so the whole Midwest can be the only place that'll be a safe zone for everybody. And all the people, the capitalists mining and destroying the water, someday they might come to our place and ask us permission to come live in a safe place. So we have that chance, we have an opportunity for the next 20 years to make that happen. And the laws should be more natural laws. America is known as a country of laws, but little bit laws are good. Now they have too much laws, and they're not following half of them.
Well, they're not following, and they're very choosy in who they follow them with, which is where we said, for instance, you're saying for blacks on paper they're equal, but the laws are enforced differently on black people than white people and on Native people.
Yeah.
But one of the things that's interesting, you mentioned how current Congress, sort of needs to do right, and I agree. But what is not as true in the white thinking, the white man thinking, is that they are somehow connected to the Congress people of the 1800s, when we're all connected.
Yeah.
But most people who wear this costume and in the positions that I'm in don't think that way. They're very much thinking about the present moment, and as we get more and more technology going and more moment to moment going, there's some thinking about future generations. Maybe 5 years, maybe 10.
Yeah.
Most elected people think in 2 to 4 year cycles, which is very short-term thinking, which is a big problem.
Yeah.
But also don't look back even more than a short period of time. And so that's a real challenge. But I appreciate the sentiment to try to have this massive land area become basically a safe zone. I realistically don't see how that happens, only because there are so many other people living there that feel like they have title and ownership, which is something that's on pieces of paper. I mean, I own the farm I live on. I don't.
My grandfather spilled blood to own this one. That's the common terms to use.
Well, and
but it's also stolen, unceded territory.
That's right. I mean, I bought the land from someone else who owns the land, and I try to care for the land so that it's healthier when I leave it than when I got it. And I still know there's ways that I could fund better. I'm sure I'm not treating the land as well as I could, and I use tractors and cut open a lot more land than I.
But hemp replenishes the soil.
I know, and I do I do cover crops. I'm not growing hemp yet. I was involved with the hemp law. I've been involved with the medical cannabis law, and actually just minutes ago they voted on and tabled again a bill to legalize full recreational use in the tax and regulated system.
I didn't get a DEA permit to grow my hemp. I used a treaty sovereignty, and 2 years ago the state of South Dakota passed a bill recognizing and honoring the treaty. So without a permit from the feds, they just backed off. First Indian nation to do that. So we're
So you're growing it again?
Oh yes, I am making money on it.
Good.
Good money.
People here are trying.
I make CBD oil. I just specialize. And one of the things that happened with my hemp was it came up to 20% CBD. Nationally, average is 7% CBD.
Oh wow!
And the reason is because the Badlands has this mineral called zeolite, and that blows all across the land. So everything we plant, it comes up pure, natural, 1800s. That's like $500 today's standards. And Roosevelt, man of his destiny. If you're white, you're right. The tribal mass must be crushed. Abraham Lincoln, largest Indian hanging in history. Not that many people has ever been hung.
It's all whitewashed.
Yeah. And Thomas Jefferson, he bought the Louisiana Purchase. Without our knowledge. They all committed genocide. And why are their faces even being honored? When you honor them, you're honoring genocide. And people need to know about that. So that's.
I actually thought it was going to move this year because there were enough sponsors, and somehow it got shuttled to the side again. But calling it Indigenous Peoples Day, of course, rather than Columbus Day.
We have that